Hello there guys, RMP792 here. At the end of my last vlog I basically said that if anybody had any requests, anything they'd like me to talk about, just stick them in the comment section and I'd certainly consider them. And I got a request to talk about the recent Wonder Woman movie. I talked about it a little bit on Twitter when it came out, but not all of you follow me. If you want to, that's at RMP792. But yeah, if you want me to waffle about it, I will certainly waffle about it. I really liked it. I have made no secret of the fact that the DC EU up to this point has been pretty goddamn terrible. Man of Steel was bad. Batman v Superman was so much worse. And I never even bothered watching Suicide Squad because... why? But I went into Wonder Woman and I really, really enjoyed it. It's certainly not a flawless film, but I'm going to do a comparison here that some people are not going to like. It feels very much like a first-generation Marvel movie. And I don't mean that they've just copied Marvel and that's what they needed to do to make it good. No, they got right in this film the same thing that the first-generation Marvel movies got right. Namely, their entire focus was on the character and making us care about them. So in the way that the first Iron Man film is ultimately focused very much on Tony Stark's personal journey, or the first Thor film is very much on Thor learning to be less of a dick. Your Captain America is basically a good man gets power and doesn't let it change who he is. So the reason that they worked is that they are focused on those little characters, on the small stuff within the grand stuff. And that's what this film gets right. It's ultimately the story of a princess, basically. She's been sheltered all her life, and she feels she has a duty. So she goes out, she sees the world is a lot darker, a lot more complicated than she realised, and decides it doesn't matter. That while her mission may not be as straightforward as she believed, that doesn't change her fundamental responsibility to be better. And that's ultimately why it works. And let's be honest, the quintessential scene of this movie is the trench. It's the moment... I'm going to assume you've seen the film by now, okay? So spoilers ahead. I won't go into anything massive, but... actually, I might. We'll see. But yes, I'm going to assume you've seen it if you're watching this. So yeah, as I was saying, the quintessential scene of this film is the moment in the trench where Steve basically says, there's nothing we can do to help these people. At which point she basically says, yes, there is. And goes and does it. And that ultimately is why the film works, because it gets the character of Wonder Woman. It works for the exact same reason that I still really maintain that the Richard Donner Superman holds up. Again, lots and lots of problems, but it gets the character of Superman. And that ultimately is that's the single biggest problem of Man of Steel. It doesn't understand the character. Batman v Superman doesn't understand either of them, which is why they're just terrible. This movie gets who Wonder Woman is, and that's the important point. Now, granted, I would have liked them to actually say her goddamn name on screen at some point. They're clearly afraid that, Wonder Woman's going to sound a bit silly, but yeah, of course it is. Do you think we care? Let's face it, Batman is a really stupid name. But, many, many years of cultural osmosis has led us to, forget that little fact, which is fine. So, ultimately, it's a really good, really enjoyable movie with problems. The main problem being that Aerys himself is kind of not very good as a villain. He's actually perfectly fine insofar as, him being in disguise and him pretending to be, I can't remember the actor's name, so I'm just going to call him Lupin. Because, of course, he was Lupin in the Harry Potter films. And him basically turning up early on, and I'll freely admit, I didn't see it coming that it was going to be him. And, him turning up at the end. The main problem is that when Aerys goes into full sort of, enough of this crap, I'm just going to kill her mode, the costume and the CGI just weren't quite there. In particular, the fact that you can still see him and his little British moustache, behind the sinister helmet. No, that just sucks all the sort of, all the doom out of it. They should have gone with the full comic version where basically all you can see inside the helmet is red eyes and just, blackness underneath the helmet. And his voice was fine, but he worked better when it was Aerys the Manipulator rather than Aerys the Warrior. When it was Aerys the Warrior, he just looked silly, basically. As for the rest of the villains, I think Dr. Poison needed more screen time, but I've got to admit, I really love the scene where where Ludendorff is killing the other German generals, and he throws the gas grenade in, and then he throws the gas mask in, and she just looks at him confused to the communist. Gas mask won't work. They don't know that, and she realizes why he's done it. So they'll basically kill each other to try and get the gas mask, even though it's not going to save their life. And they both start giggling maniacally. That's a really nice little moment because it's a petty vindictive piece of evil, but it's a cute little moment. Yeah, I realise how messed up I am. Moving on. But again, fairly weak villains, because ultimately it's not about them, it is about Diana herself. And on that front, I freely admit, when they cast her, I was one of the people who wasn't sure about Gal Gadot. But she was easily the best thing about Batman v Superman, and she's really good here. I freely admit that. One of the comments was that I saw online was basically they're not sure if she's a good actress or if she's just utterly perfect for this part. And yeah, I'd agree with that. But yeah, she is really, really well cast. I fully admit the casting is about the only thing in the DCEU that I think has been almost perfect so far. Not counting the obvious whipping boy that is Jared Leto as the Joker. But no, the casting has actually been really, really, really good for the most part. Do I have any significant problems with any of the major casting? Can't think of any. It's entirely possible I'm forgetting someone, but so yeah, very much that is absolutely fine. And yeah, Gal Gadot is really good in this movie. Especially in it's the little moments that actually really nail the performance. It's little things like when she sees the baby in the street, and you just realise, oh yeah, she's never seen one before. And she gets utterly utterly amazed and utterly gooey, and you see the human under the warrior, and again, that works really well. It reminds you that while female characters, quite often you get the strong, independent woman thing. It reminds you that, ultimately she might. The other thing that pisses me off, I'm not a fan of the fact that they've used her New 52 origin, where she's Zeus's daughter. I much prefer the one that they basically claimed they were using, i.e. the original one, where she's been moulded from clay. She's basically a golem. Because I think that's more interesting than just being a demigod, but whatever. At least it wasn't that one that they were rumoured to be going with, where it was going to transpire that the Amazons were actually just a sort of offshoot of the Kryptonians or something like that. So glad that didn't happen. But yeah, it's the little moments of humanity that you see in her that really sell the character to me. Or the bit where she gets the ice cream and she's just like, oh my god, this is wonderful. It's really cute and really adorable, and it absolutely works. Because the whole point of Diana of Themyscira is that she's very much someone who can kick your ass if she'll have to, but she'd much rather talk you down, and she'd much rather share a drink rather than kill you. Again, she will if she has to, but she'd prefer not to. It's pointless. She prefers to defeat her enemies by talking them down and convincing them that they should stand down, rather than just by sticking a sword in their head. Yeah. We're also going to have to address the whole killing thing. Superman and Batman should not kill, ever. That is very much something I believe in. That's, again, they didn't, that's another thing that they did not understand about the characters in Man of Steel and in Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman is a warrior, which means if she's at war, she will kill. But, if she's fighting street criminals, no, she's not going to kill them. She's going to bring them in because that's what she's there to do. She's very much a respond with the appropriate level of force kind of person. So if she is at war, which she was, she will kill. She doesn't enjoy it, but it is necessary. And let's face it, her big motivating factor during the effectively the full reveal of Wonder Woman, rather than just Diana, is that woman begging for help. So she's not going into battle because she thirsts for it. She's going into it because she feels she has to in order to help people. And again, very important point in understanding the character. I freely admit I was tearing up a little bit at that trench scene because, it was a case of seeing her for the first time on the big screen, and admittedly, it didn't hit me as hard as it might have, and I blame the trailers for that. This film actually led to my current policy. I don't know if I've mentioned it in the past, but I basically decided that from now on, anything I know I am going to see, I'm not going to watch any trailers for. Because I don't want any moments spoiled for me. So for example, Black Panther, next Avengers film, anything like that, I haven't seen the latest Justice League trailer, for example. One of my friends is aware that I have this policy and decided to put the trailer on while I was around his place, and I basically sat there with my fingers in my ears and my eyes closed for 4 minutes because I didn't want to see any of it. It's not completely possible to pull this off. I mean, I've seen one of the shorter trailers for The Defenders because it's currently popping up on YouTube a lot, and it's the short version that I can't skip. So it depends how quickly I can get my fingers in my ears and my eyes closed, but yeah. I'm trying my best to avoid seeing trailers for stuff I know I want to see. Teaser trailers are fine, but anything that shows actual footage from the film, I'm avoiding. So, for example, I've seen the new Pacific Rim 2 trailer, because that doesn't have any actual footage from the film. It's basically just, it's GLaDOS talking about how awesome Jaegers are, which is fine. So I'm avoiding trailers as a result of seeing this movie, because that trench scene is really, really good, and I think it would have hit even harder if I hadn't seen it in every single goddamn trailer. But as I said, the action for the most part in this film is pretty good. Slight overuse of slow-mo, possibly, but honestly, it's fine. The scene on Themyscira itself with the Amazons versus the German troops is an interesting scene because, as a medievalist, them throwing basically medieval-style weapons against what was at the time modern weaponry. So, 1914, 1918. So, so late World War I era weaponry, genuinely an interesting fight to watch. And again, you actually saw the Amazons using proper technique with various things, in particular their bows. That thing where they jump off the side of the mountain with that's not possible. But, things like sticking arrows into the ground so that they can loose a bunch of them faster. Things like that were done. Actually being able to fire off, arrows with reasonable speed. Properly trained archers can do that. Lots of flips and that kind of stuff, but no, overall, it was pretty good. Again, the casting for the other Amazons was pretty good. The only two we really see are her mother and her aunt. Other than background characters, but again, the actress playing Queen Hippolyta is pretty good, and the actress playing her aunt is Robin Wright. Yeah, it's the Princess Bride. Wouldn't have called that. But again, she's actually really quite good in this film. And the fact that they're all basically doing Gal Gadot's accent rather than having Gal Gadot try to do an American accent absolutely works, because again, they're Greek. Well, it depends whether you count the Amazons as Greek or as a separate thing, but anyway, they should not be speaking with American accents. So the fact that she doesn't actually really, really works for the character. I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't try and force her to do one. Or, British accent, because let's be honest, it's always American or British accents. But, the casting there was good. The casting of her sort of squad was pretty good as well. I like most of these actors. And Chris Pine's actually really good here. He's been okay as Captain Kirk, but here he works largely because he's part comic relief and part serious love interest, and they actually have pretty good chemistry. And his sacrifice at the end actually works quite well. As a sort of holy crap moment for her. I also really like the scene where they're in the boat, heading out of Themyscira, and they just start chatting. Is a really good scene. And I've heard some rumours that a lot of the dialogue there was improvised. And if it was, that implies to me Gal Gadot really gets some of the undertones of the character, especially the bit where she's talking about the fact that, one of the Amazons wrote a treatise on love and basically decided, we need men for procreation, but not for pleasure. They're kind of pointless there. Because, let's be honest, ever since it was created, Paradise Island has had a nudge, nudge, wink, wink relationship with lesbianism. The fact that the comics fairly recently finally admitted that Diana is bi, that's been a subtle hinting element of the character since her creation. And it was just the fact that they literally couldn't get away with actually saying it out loud, back in the 40s when she was created. So I'm glad DC finally pulled the trigger on that. And the fact that, that entire sequence implies to me that she understands the character quite well, in that Diana doesn't care. Let's face it, while a lot of the Amazons are quite sexist, that's a thing. They've grown up with stories of men being, brutish and barbarous, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Diana doesn't actually give a damn what genitals you've got. As long as you have a good heart, that's enough for her. And that really, really shines through in her conversations with Steve. Even some of the weird, awkward, flirty stuff. Is actually surprisingly cute to watch. But it's generally a good film. It's certainly not without its problems. Third act's a bit on the weak side. It peaks at that trench scene, and after that, it's not anywhere near as good and as focused, because it's clear that was the scene that the film was built around. But overall, it's a really good film. The main problem is that it introduces God knows how many continuity problems with what was established in Batman v Superman. Namely, there's nothing in that film that looked like it would make abandon the world for 70 years or 80 years or whatever it was, until Batman turned up and was like, we need you. So it don't know if they're going to do that, or if they're just kind of ignore it and basically say, well, she's been there, but she hasn't been a big thing because she's been operating kind of quietly and kind of subtly, which, let's be honest, when you're dressed like that, it's hard to be subtle. With that said, the costume's actually pretty good. I, again, wasn't sure about it when we saw it in still photos, but it really works with the whole design, the whole style aesthetic, and everything else. And it feels like Diana, which is the important thing. So yeah, it's generally a good film. I really, I'm glad that it's, at this point, I think it is the most successful film of the DCEU, because hopefully it might make Warner Brothers do some course correcting. I mean, there's been a lot of rumours behind the scenes of Batman v Superman, because we know they brought in Joss Whedon after Zack Snyder had to step back for personal reasons. that there's lots of comments about the tone is going to be all over the place, and I don't know. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll go see it, and it can only be a complete and utter train wreck disaster. But we will see. But I suspect once again Diana will be pretty good because, as I say, Gal Gadot is really good in the role, and generally it was a very good, very enjoyable film with problems. I freely accept that, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a character-focused piece focusing on Diana, and it did what it needed to do in that it got her absolutely right. Where they go from here for a potential sequel, I don't know. There's lots of rumours banding around that they're probably going to go with Cersei as the main villain, or possibly Cheetah. Cheetah as the main villain's kind of boring. Cheetah works perfectly fine as a sort of souped-up henchwoman. Cersei is the main villain. Yeah, I could see that. We'll have to see. No point talking about vague rumours for a script that isn't even finished yet. So I think that's all I've got on Wonder Woman. I mean, that's a good 20-21 minutes. So if you have anything you would like me to talk about in these vlogs, comment section is there. Have at it. And so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in future videos.